Welcome to the Stree Shakti series at the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum, TIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is The Architect of Spaces and Voices in conversation with Rajalakshmi Joshi, a woman whose life is a masterclass in versatility, an accomplished architect and interior designer. She has also made her mark as a political analyst, TEDx speaker, environmentalist, and social entrepreneur. Whether she's designing a 40-acre temple complex representing India on global platforms or speaking up on national television, Raj Lakshmi blends creativity with conviction. Today, over a cup of coffee, we explore the dimensions of a journey from a design studio to the debate stage, TEDx stage, and from her personal passions to her professional triumphs. And we also come to know Raj Lakshmi as a person. So, welcome Raj Lakshmi to today's Sri Shakti series at the Coffee Conversation Show.
Thank you so much, Lion Amir. So it is an honor to be invited on your stage and the Emerging India Forum. So thank you so much. And you're an author of 15 books, as I know. So it's thank you so much. It's an honor to be in conversation with you.
Okay. So let me explain you. There'll be three rounds: professional, personal, and a rapid fire round where you'll be in the hot seat, like you had coffee with Karan, and here's inspiration,
Okay.
dish marketing, which will be autographed and sent to you. But you have to be witty,
Okay.
fun, and win it. Yes. So let's
Okay.
begin. So friend, I'm Lion Amir Virani, who's a coffee connoisseur and legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. So my first question: how has the journey shaped up, and what were the key defining moments you had, Raj Lakshmi?
So, as you know, by qualification, I'm an architect. So I am somebody who has never believed in limiting myself. And instead of saying maybe thinking outside the box, I believe that there is no box. So, very frankly, I've always been a creative person. So, right from my college days, even when I was doing my architecture, along with it, I was also doing another course in interior design. So, I just wanted to uh, uh, get a little more specialization in the interiors part of it as well, because I think that in the course of architecture, even though I was being taught about interior design, but at the same time I wanted to hone my skills in that aspect as well. And then along with that, so I'm somebody who is always wanting to do more and more with whatever little time I have. So after my graduation, so I was there with a double degree, and then I started off with an internship and a job, so all that routine. But then what happened is around 2005, I felt that I was a little experienced enough to start my own projects. So even when I was working with another architect, and I was gaining experience in designing multiplexes, in designing residences, and designing residential complexes. I also started taking up a few jobs of my own without compromising on the job, of course. So I started with that. So that is when the journey of RK Design Consultants started. So that was in 2005. So for a long time, it was uh, it'll be a little um it'll be a little underestimating it to say that it was difficult, because trust me, I was having sleepless nights, being there with the job and with my own projects and being a mother as well. So, all of that. So, with the family and with two different things to take care of. But in spite of that, even then, later started taking only my own projects. So, then it was completely only architect design consultants. So, say maybe around 2006, because it was getting quite difficult to handle both. And then along with that, so then again, I started with a lot of social initiatives. I started getting myself into a lot of social activities. And so then I was always interested in writing. So then I used to write a lot of blogs, and I was actually also editing a spiritual newsletter. So all of this together, after that, that led me to uh, getting on the TEDx platform, from writing all these articles and doing the newsletter, the spiritual newsletter, and writing for a lot of publications, and then getting on the TEDx stage, because I always felt that there was something lacking in the field of architecture. And I always wanted to do something for the environment. So my TEDx talks have been on architecture, architectural identity, actually, and another one was on how everyone can do something for the environment. So now, at around that time, then some news channels also started approaching me for my views on political subjects, on issues of women empowerment, and on architecture, of course, on environment. So all of these issues which I was writing about, as well as speaking about on different forums. So then I think the natural progression was that these news channels also started calling me. So then now that has become like a regular thing, where I'm more of a political analyst, because then a lot of these political issues keep happening. I mean, every day there is something or the other obviously happening. So that is more of a regular phenomenon now than speaking about other issues. But then I do speak about all of them, and I also speak on a lot of conferences and on different forums on women empowerment and social issues. And I always believe that I'm also in the process of writing my book. So that again, because I always think that I should be able to encourage people to expand their mindset. So the thing about the mindset is something that has always fascinated me, and that is what I always speak about, and that is something that I am writing about as well. So that's how my journey goes, Amit.
Wow. So let's dive deep in conversation phase by phase. Architecture often balances beauty and functionality. Which wins in your design philosophy, Raj Lakshmi?
Okay. So, very frankly, now in your question itself is a kind of an answer itself. So, you're talking about balance. So, I always believe in balance as well. So, I always believe that you can't have a space which is simply only about aesthetics, about beauty, and also at the same time, it merely functional space, but something that is not appealing to you, something that doesn't make you feel very comfortable, again, will not really suit the purpose. So it has to be a balance. But most essential, obviously, is the function. The function, it has to meet the basic requirements. If it's simply appealing but not meeting the basic requirements, so then obviously, so then there is this thing of form follows function. So I always try to make sure that it has to obviously, the whatever space I design has to meet all the functions, and at the same time it has to be aesthetic, of course. So it has to be appealing at the same time.
Wow. So, Raj Lakshmi, how does Vedic architecture influence your modern projects?
Okay, so that's something interesting. Now, as part of our architecture studies, very frankly, we are taught a whole lot of things. So people ask us, why do you need 5 years to do an architecture course? What do you do? All you have to do is build 4 walls and maybe some windows and stuff. So people don't really understand what exactly goes behind designing a space. So what we are taught in those 5 years of architecture includes, apart from the structure, apart from materials, apart from the design factors, all of that, it also includes some things like climate study and environmental impacts, and a whole lot of issues. But very frankly, if you look at the architecture in recent times, if you look at the architecture generally, most of those issues are not looked after at all. Now, what fascinated me about the about the aspects of Vedic architecture was that it has, it creates a kind of a symphony with nature. So, in our Indian culture, you're obviously aware that, in Indian culture, you have, like you say, 33,000 crore gods and goddesses, deities. So, the reason why we have that is that it's not that we are crazy. It's because we tend to worship almost all elements of the space, and as at the same time all, maybe all creatures as well, because when you worship something, you can't really get yourself to create harm, to cause harm to it. So, in Indian culture and Indian architecture and everything that we do, we put a lot of importance, we place a lot of importance on being sensitive to the environment, being sensitive to the climate, being sensitive to the very ground and soil on which your structures are based on. So, when we do a Bhumi Pujan now today, the aspect of Bhumi Pujan actually has, just maybe a lot of people just think of it as maybe just worshipping the ground. But then the thing is that you have to actually be sensitive and be actually aware of how that ground is going to react, so that bhumi has to support your structure in every sense. So when Vedic architecture, what happens is, apart from just designing the space, you're looking at all the elements, like you're looking at the directions. So when you talk about vastu, now vastu is not just simply limited to maybe looking at a particular direction and then just going by a thumb rule. So in Vedic architecture, we base it on what are the directions, what is the orientation of the sun, how, what are the kind of materials that will actually help the structure react, respond properly to the environment in which it is built. So that exactly is the essence of Vedic architecture, which I think is missing in everyday architecture all around the
Yes.
world. And that is what fascinates me about this.
Yeah. So in India, there is Vedic architecture focus. In China, there will be Feng Shui. So each country has got their practices.
Yes.
Okay. So let's. I want to plan a panel discussion on Vedic architecture. I'll need your help. Need the other panelists, and we want to make aware about influence of Vedic architecture, Vedic Vastu, the principles of
Sure.
designing. Hmm?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Raj Lakshmi, you have been in this field for over 2 decades. What's the biggest shift you have seen in how India approaches design and construction?
Okay, so I'm somebody who has seen drawings being built on a normal paper. I mean, we used to actually draw, we used to actually draft. So, from there to shifting to today's times, we are actually completely working on computers. So, obviously, we do have to do a lot of sketching, because then for the ideas to come out, for the ideas to actually be there, to evolve, we have to do a lot of sketching. So when we do the sketching, the ideas come. But now, another major shift that I've actually seen, other than this technical part of it, this is the technical way of just, that is how things have become faster, maybe. But then now, the more basic difference that I see is, earlier, if you've looked at all the buildings, you used to see just simply building blocks. You used to see maybe just, the buildings used to be just basic. They used to be like, literally, you had no aesthetic sense about them. So they used to just basically meet the requirements. Like they had to probably, we have to house a particular number of people. So then that's how it was, basic. Now today, I think people are a lot more aware of the aesthetics part of it. So if you look at the buildings now, at least they're designed a lot with a lot more uh, a sense of aesthetics and a lot more facilities and services. From all those points of view, I think they're a lot more well designed, whether it may be from point of view of town planning, or whether from point of view of the environment and all those aspects. But even then, there are a lot of things. I mean, we still have a long way to go, but at the same time, now at least there is a lot more, at least in the urban spaces. But then again, if you watch my TEDx talk, I have spoken about how there is another aspect, that earlier we used to have a distinct identity to every city. So if you visit Pune, you will realize that you will feel that you're in Pune. If you visit Jaipur, you will feel that you're in Jaipur. Now today, whichever town you visit, you have the same kind of a look, like the same kind of a shop facade, the same kind of. So all cities or all towns look just as dirty. So that is, you've lost the identity because you are not responding to the basic place and the basic no, the climate in which you're based in. So earlier used to have different materials. I'm talking about maybe 100 or 200 years ago. But now you have a completely different scenario where everything is, you have the same concrete, you have the same building blocks, you have the same kind of roofs. So all everything looks identical. So that is something that concerns me. So I think that we have to be a lot more creative on that front in the way in which we develop our cities, and we have to make sure that we don't just become a kind of a copy paste of, some buildings, just copied and pasted from one place to the other. That's not how architecture works.
Wow. So now AI is impacting everywhere. How is AI impacting design process for an architect?
Okay, so this is something that has completely changed everything. So you could say, because what happens is, I may design a beautiful space, I may design a beautiful structure, but it becomes a huge task getting the other person to understand, the client to understand, for them to visualize what I have visualized. So earlier we had to rely on, like, initially it used to be like, say, maybe elevations and perspectives, perspective views, and then later when the computer started coming in, we started progressing to 3D walkthroughs, and now it's like almost a virtual reality. So you can make a person literally walk through your space, and they are able to understand what exactly you're talking about. Maybe not completely, but then at least they can get a feel of what exactly is happening. So maybe for us also it's a little easier to explore with the different materials, and for the client also it's a little easier for them to understand how a different material could impact a particular design. So in that way, I think that in especially in the space of architecture, that is how AI has impacted the entire scenario. So
Wow. Okay. So Rajalakshmi, you have represented India at international conferences. What's one insight you believe in India can offer the world in architecture or urban planning?
okay, so actually, a part of this was actually explained to you when I was speaking about Vedic architecture as well. So, uh, our culture is deeply rooted in our architecture as well. I'm talking about the traditional Indian architecture. And if you look at it, if you look at all the different, uh, cities and towns, the ancient houses, if you look at them, the heritage houses, they are all with materials from that particular region, and also they are definitely they are able to respond much better to the climate. So we have a lot of variety on that front, because India being a country which has completely diverse climates, right from, say, maybe a desert to snow laden peaks, so, and mountains and beaches. So we have every kind of a scenario, so which is not true for most other countries. So I think we have a lot to offer in terms of that, and instead of we trying to ape the West and trying to think that they are superior and we have to take on their techniques, we actually have a lot to offer, because a lot of our temples have withstood all the challenges of time and all
Mhm.
kinds of natural calamities. And just imagine now, some of our projects, some of our temples, if you look at it, they've been there for thousands of years, which is not an easy thing to do. So that we do have a lot to offer, but very firstly we have to believe in ourselves, and that is the first thing that holds us back, I guess.
Wow. So let's go memory down the lane, Rajlakshmi. You've built everything from luxury resorts to sprawling temple complexes. Which project pushed you out of your comfort zone the most?
Okay, so yeah, you're right in the fact that I have designed extremely small spaces as well, and projects which were like, say, maybe 40 acres. And so, that has been a completely diverse kind of a scenario. So the smallest of spaces also have always been a challenge, because then you have to fit in everything possible, and at the same time it has to look good as well and meet the budgets. But one project that stands out in this entire scenario is one temple complex that I was designing for my Guruji. Now, he was completely uh, insistent about the fact that we should not be using concrete and steel in this structure. So he wanted to go by the some traditional structural methods. So that actually, like I just told you, that in spite of the fact that they are able to withstand for, say, maybe thousands of years, but at the same time it takes a long time for uh, creating these kind of materials as well, because even those building blocks, or maybe the gluing material and all of that. So instead of, if you're not able to use concrete, if you're not able to use steel, then you have to be doubly sure that all of the other aspects are taken care of very meticulously. And it was a big task, even making sure that you get the right skilled labor to be able to do that as well, because then that is something that most of our practices, they have been completely lost. So even in my in a resort project in Goa, I'm for a simple stone walling, where we have created arches with stone. Even in that, getting a person to create a simple arch also, it was a huge task, because that is something that actually people don't do nowadays. And even if they create arches, they just do a cladding maybe, which doesn't really qualify as a real arch. So these practices are something that have gone completely out of fashion perhaps, but at the same time, if you look at it, they actually can withstand a lot of challenges. So getting the right skilled labor, in fact teaching them a lot of things, that was actually quite a challenge. So in the resort as well as in the temple complex, I'm really proud of it. But it did come out as a huge challenge. But at the end of the day, it was quite a satisfying task.
Wow. So, Rajlakshmi, running arcade design consultants for 20 years is no small feat. What's the secret to business longevity in a competitive industry?
Okay, then now there is no uh, substitute for persistence and hard work, I would say. Like I told you, right from my college days also. In fact, even during school, I was also involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. So it was never limited to, okay, I've done my quota of schoolwork and homework, and now that's it. I'm just going to simply play. No, yes, playing was always there, but then at the same time, I was also involved in a lot of extracurricular activities. Similarly, during college, I was also doing another huge hugely meticulous course. And similarly, I was taking a lot of other projects even while I was doing a job. So that, I think, that kind of a persistence has helped keeping all of keeping the momentum, And yes, definitely there are ups and downs in all businesses. So even when you are down, you have to keep maybe upscaling yourself, skilling yourself, and all of that. So you have to do that, and you have to keep at it. Basically, you just can't, just because you're maybe facing a bad patch, you just don't quit. So don't quit.
Wow. So let's go to your next role, being a political analyst. So, what for viewers out there a political analyst is, and how has the experience been?
Okay, so for as a political analyst, if I have to speak on national television on a particular subject, I have to have a complete all-round view or all-round knowledge about the subject. So I can't say something's wrong on national television, and then obviously I'll be not only pulled up for it on during the debate itself, but I'll be horribly ridiculed by the viewers as well, and obviously the channels will not call me ever again. So there has to be a lot of interest in the subject, and as well as, it's not just about knowing it, you have to be able to read between the lines. So that is something that I've always tried to do, because I try to analyze the subject, and I try to get an all-round view of the entire topic. It's not just about what one person is saying. So it has to be an all-round view, and then on the basis of that, I can base my analysis. So, that is how it is. So now, initially, we had to actually visit all the studios. Like if, say, a particular channel wants me to speak on a subject, then I have to either visit the channel, or else they will send a unit home. So there was some time, say maybe an hour or 2 hours given. But now what happens is, a lot of times, say maybe they say that a particular politician has made a comment, and he is, say maybe somebody has blabbered something, and they want a reaction on it. So they expect us to just maybe able to say it, say maybe sometimes it's just a matter of 5 minutes. So it's like that person has said something and you're expected to respond. So I need to have a knowledge, a very deep knowledge of all these issues. And
Yeah.
so I have to do a lot of reading about it as well.
Wow. So let's go to your next role. How does one become a TEDx speaker, and how has the experience been a TEDx speaker?
Uh, that has been a really nice experience. I say it was a really uh, I wouldn't really be able to tell you how to be a TEDx speaker, but then yes, I did look out for some TEDx talks that were to happen, and then they actually invited me for some. They knew that I had some ideas about, like I told you about the architectural identity. So I had discussed with some of the organizers about these ideas, and they liked it, and that's why they invited me. And then once I got on the TEDx stage once, then a few other organizers also, they were also interested to know if I had some other ideas also to share. So that is how things went. And it was a little easier for me to get on the TEDx stage, because like I said, I was sharing my views on social media, writing about it on a lot of different forums. And so that is how, I guess, that they knew that I had a lot of these things to share. So I had written about architecture, about how in ancient times things were different, and now in the recent years, things have not been all that appealing. So I guess that is how they approached me. And definitely, I think that has helped me uh, reach my views to a lot more number of people than otherwise, through my blogs. So because TEDx is a very has a very wide audience and all across the globe, so that has definitely helped.
Wow. So let's go to the next role. You have been involved in several social impact projects. Which is that project closest to your heart?
Okay, so there have been a lot of things that really have been impactful. Like one thing is, I was part of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which I felt very strongly about, especially because I'm a mother of a daughter. So I've, uh, I was aware of a lot of people going in for female female feticide. So that I think is something that is a huge concern. Now if you look at the statistics, people don't really realize that this is a huge problem, not just in rural areas but in urban in the biggest urban cities as well. So that was something that was really close to my heart. Beti bachao beti padhao, that starts right from the struggle of a female, right, even from the time to be born, right up to whether she can actually get a decent education and an equal opportunity. So that was something very close to my heart. And another thing was about, uh, during the COVID lockdown, uh, there were, I mean, it was a very difficult situation for a lot of people, especially migrants who had no means. They were, a lot of them were daily wage workers, so they had no means of getting any kind of money or any way of sustaining themselves. And even if they did have even the a little amount of money, they wouldn't know where to get their daily food ration from. So that was a big challenge. And then I used my good connections, and along with my husband, I mean, that was something that I'm so thankful to God that I was able to do that, because we listed out a whole lot of people, and it started from say maybe 20 people to 200 people to then uh, the number rose to 10,000 people. So then there were a lot of other organizations who helped us do this, but then we were able to provide them with some daily ration for, say, maybe around 2 months. So later, the government obviously has done a lot for them, but then in the initial few days, it was a very huge problem for most of them. So I'm grateful to God that I had some good connections with people who, with organizations who were able to help us do this. So that is another thing that I think that I have used a lot of social media. It was just by the way of using, say, maybe a lot of them were via messaging, because even they were so busy with so many people calling them for help that we didn't really have time to speak with each other. So can you imagine that a lot of them had, say, maybe supplied things for, say, maybe 200 people, but I spoke to them after maybe almost 15 days, because then we were all so busy with a whole lot of things that speaking was not on the an option, but then getting the work done was definitely more of a
Fulfilling.
priority.
So, Rajlakshmi, looking forward, what's the dream project still on your vision board which you like to do?
Okay, so now uh, I feel that a lot of our youngsters are, like, especially in urban areas, they are not much in tune, or they are not really connected with the basic culture or the basic essence of our country, especially the rural part of it. So things have completely changed, and even in rural areas also, they are always aspiring to be something like, they aspire to be like the urban population. So I want to have a project, or maybe develop a theme resort, so where maybe urban folks will be able to have a feel of the rural life, and also be able to bond with animals, And because that, I think, like now today, if you talk about bonding with animals, it's only limited to maybe dogs and cats. So I'm a cow lover. So I feel that this thing where, if you look at it, the cows, they especially our desi cows, they have actually in the past, they have actually been a very essential part of the entire family. So they have actually helped even the farms and all the fields be organically fertilized, and that was how India was a prosperous country. Now today, our urban kids especially, and even the rural ones, they don't realize the value of this organic kind of a lifestyle. And organic, I think most people don't even know what it actually means. So I want people to be able to re- experience it, value it, and be able to create this entire thing, and want to be able to uh, be able to live in that kind of a lifestyle.
Wow. So my last question for your professional journey round: what advice would you give to young women who want to become an architect and become a uh, design spaces, a resort, so many things, and which are impactful and including Vedic and apna considering the ये, climate of different cities.
So very firstly, for any girl, any young girl who may be venturing out and wondering what to do, and she may be having some kind of a, uh, uh, designing streak, or maybe she may be with an artistic bent of mind. I would say that now today, there are equal opportunities for women, definitely. And even if, say, maybe there may still be a patriarchal kind of a mindset with a lot of people, but at the same time, we have to always we have to create our own space, literally or otherwise. We have to create our own space in whatever field it may be, whether it may be architecture, whether it may be say maybe in a legal field, as you are, or it may be anything else in a corporate environment. A woman has to create her own space. So dreaming about it, I mean, have dream about it firstly, and then go ahead and do that. So they have to dream, believe in themselves, and then create their own space. So
Wow.
that has to be there, and a person has to be really interested in architecture, and not just look at it as some kind of a glamorous profession. Because very frankly, it's not very easy for somebody to even go through the entire course, being a very tedious one. So you have to be really interested in it, and then go ahead. Once you decide, please go ahead with it.
Beautiful. So let's go to the next round and understand Raj Lakshmi as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
Okay, so my family is I have a wonderful set of parents, extremely supportive ones, and uh, so they are the ones who have empowered me with good education, and me and my sister with good education. So that, I think, is the first thing and the most important thing that they did, that they empowered us with good education. And my father, even at that time, so obviously, in those times it was a little more challenging for a girl. So he never once thought that I'm going to waste my money on a daughter. So that he never thought about it that way. So he empowered us. So he supported us in every way possible, both my parents. So even later, even after my marriage, also, very frankly, my when my daughter was small, so I had projects all over the place. So my husband as well as my parents, they took care of my daughter, and that is why I was able to be able to do any of this. So otherwise, it would not have been easy for me to wonder what is happening with my daughter if if I'm traveling. So I was able to pursue my career because of my supportive family. So my parents and my husband, so they have definitely been a pillar of support. And at the same time, my daughter is also now, she is also another pillar of support. So she has also been an inspiring force. So she has also been somebody who has put ideas into my head about whether it may be about the environment. So she was somebody who was aghast reading some books, and then she was like, Mom, can you do something to save the environment?" And that actually planted the seed. And that is how I have also been somebody who has been trying to do something about the environment. And so that is how a lot of my projects also were. I've tried to put in all kinds of sustainable materials, sustainable, the thing about sustainability was largely driven by something that my daughter had told me. So
Wow.
this is how it has been. So my parents have definitely empowered me with all of this. They have supported me all the way, my husband as well. And my daughter has been, definitely, she has been my friend, and she has inspired me to do a lot of things as well.
Wow. So let's go to your days at LS Raheja School of Architecture. What are your memories and experiences from there?
Uh, LS Raja was definitely a defining place, in the sense that obviously everybody around me were such creative people, and it was a very inspiring and a motivating environment. So whether it may be about the seniors and about our juniors, so it was a very close knit kind of an environment also, I would say, because uh, we had we almost knew almost everyone in the college. So everybody, whether it may be a senior or a junior, and it was always a very a good exchange of ideas. And our professors also, everybody was so uh, they were so motivated to be able to design good spaces. So this all this environment about always talking about you need to visit this place, and you need to look at this kind of architecture. So all that kind of talk. And then even when we had any kind of free time, we used to want to sketch different buildings. So our professors used to tell us, you go there and sketch this and sketch that. So it was a completely different uh, atmosphere from your from the normal, whatever during my school or college, whatever the 11th and 12th grade I'm talking about. It was a very different scenario here, because everybody was into a lot of, they were very artistic, everyone. So it, it completely, when you're surrounded by all these kind of people, obviously, you tend to look at things in a very different way. So that is how that has definitely shaped how I look at buildings in the first place. So we are a kind where we will, when we go to a place, we will look at the building, and we will look at the interiors, uh,
Mhm.
and we will wonder about the materials. So that kind of a bent of mind that comes by being around people like this, who always talk about these kind of aspects.
Wow. Okay, so what's a hobby or interest which helps you to unwind and recharge?
So this is like I told you about sketching. And another thing is about I'm also somebody who is uh, who loves creating stories, maybe, or watching movies. So I love this thing about how, when a story is well told, about trying to get the essence. So a well-made movie which has a very with lovely surprises, that helps me unwind. So I love the art of storytelling. So that is
Oh,
another thing that fascinates me. So the way a particular incident, you build up to it, and the way something is revealed, and the kind of plot, the twists and turns, all those kind of things also fascinate me.
wow. So thank you for leaving to my next question. Which is the book or movie which has left a lasting impact on you?
Okay, so there was this book that I think almost every architect must have read. That is The Fountainhead. So that actually is something, that's a book that actually has a lasting impression, and because um, it has a lot of elements about how a person evolves from, say, maybe being a student to a successful architect. So those kind of that kind of an evolution of an architect, basically. So it's a story of an architect, if you have not read it. So that, I think, must be a book that I think almost all architects must have read. So that, I mean, I couldn't not have read it.
Wow. So if your friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would it be?
3 words.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say, by mindset, I would be a lioness. Like, you're a lion, so I would be a lioness. And so, and by heart, obviously, by heart I'm a mother. And again, another thing is, I always want to look for balance. Like I was talking about this thing about balance. So I always believe that something may be very good or something may be bad, but then excessive of anything definitely is not good ever. It may be the best thing ever, but then too much of anything is never good. So you have to always strike a balance. So
Wow.
this is something, yes.
So my last 2, 3 questions will be reflective ones. What legacy would you like to leave behind?
Okay, so uh, this is something that my Guruji had said, that you know whatever you may do, whatever task you may come across, or any place that you go to, always try to see that you leave that place better than
Mhm.
what it was when you touched it. So leaving the society a little better, at least, whatever, even slightly better than what I found it, that is something that I would want to do.
Wow, beautiful. So as this is a Sri Shakti series, what does Sri Shakti mean to you?
uh, I believe that women are empowered by themselves. They themselves are Shakti. So Stree and Shakti, they are not two different words. They are the same. So when people talk about women empowerment, that again is a tricky thing, because I feel that there is this assumption that women need to be empowered. They don't need to be empowered. They just need to be reminded of their powers. So they need to be reminded that they can do something. Yes, obviously they need to get the opportunity to do something. That is what is lacking. But if you give an opportunity, or even if you take an opportunity, like, and I was talking about creating a space for yourself. So I think that women definitely are uh, an embodiment of Shakti herself. So Stree Shakti are the same. And I feel that I just want to make people aware. I want to make women aware of this Shakti, and not look at themselves as a victim, and always think that they can definitely do whatever task they want to take up.
Wow. So what message would you like to give your daughter?
Okay, so I would want to tell her to never stop dreaming, and I want to tell her that no dream is too small or too big. So, whatever, however small a dream may be, you have to build on it, and you have to make sure that that dream becomes a reality. So, dream big and make it happen. So, that is the only thing that you can do, and you have to do it persistently. So, that is something that, the bigger your dreams, the more chances are that they will definitely become a reality. So, if you dream small, obviously, you may end up actually reaching there. So,
Wow, beautiful. So my last one is Googly one. Describe Rajalakshmi in one line.
one line. Okay. So, actually, when you spoke about those three words, I think that kind of was that. But if you, I'm somebody who never believes in being bound by any box or by any limits. So I believe that I believe in thinking like there is no box and there are no limits. So I believe in a strong mindset, and that is something that probably uh, defines me.
Wow. So let's go to our next round, the rapid fire round. Put you in the hot seat. Your go-to comfort food.
That is curd rice.
Wow. Minimalism or grandeur?
I didn't get the
What do you
question.
prefer, minimalism or grandeur in your designing?
Okay, I actually, again, it would be a blend of both.
Wow. You're an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl.
Wow. Your favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite Indian city for architecture?
Um, Actually, there are a lot of places, so this is a little difficult. But yes, Mumbai. Mumbai, actually, there are a lot of spaces which you have to look for them. But then Mumbai, uh, then like I said, Jaipur, Pune, then Bangalore.
Wow. Okay. Uh, your favorite Maharashtrian cuisine?
I don't know if pav bhaji qualifies as Maharashtrian, but so pav bhaji, vada pav, thali pit also is something I like.
Wow. So last one. Tea or coffee to recharge?
Tea.
Okay, let's just toast.
Okay.
You did well. And here's a book which will be autographed and sent to you. So, what a powerful conversation, Rajlakshmi, we had. You're a creator of spaces, a voice of reason in spirited debates, and a believer in the power of purposeful living. Your journey shows that strength isn't about choosing one path, it's about walking many and walking them well. The Sri Shakti series celebrates women who dare, do, and design their own destiny. And you embody that spirit perfectly. So, like that, there are 500 coffee speakers sharing their professional, personal journeys. Subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show, follow them, get inspired, implement in your lives, and we continue a conversation, a cup of coffee with another speaker. So, take care, and we meet soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.